The first foundational piece of green light hitting is something that I call intent precedes content. And this is this idea that, that the message that we as coaches want to share is always going to be framed around the athlete's motivation to hear that message. All right, their intention will always precede the content that you're sharing. As a coach, we have information, and what we're trying to do is take our information and turn it into their intelligence between the lines. Okay, so this idea of intent precedes content is this understanding that we have to understand our audience. We have to know who it is we're talking to. Daniel Coyle wrote a book, The Talent Code, and in there he recognized that how long an athlete sees themselves playing the game is a huge contributor to how fast they grow as an athlete. And I think coaches realize this. They realize that some athletes just want to play for fun, and hearing content sometimes confuses them, and this whole idea of paralysis by analysis is real. But those athletes that see themselves playing the game for a very long time, they love information, they're curious, they know it will help them down the road. So intent precedes content is this recognition that our athletes fall into these different groups, and what we did is we recognized three different levels. We would call them our sampling group, our specialized group, and our invested group. And the sampling group, we're trying to motivate through fun games and give them a lot of success that they know they've picked the right sport. And then the specialized group is in between. And then the invested group are those ones that want that information desperately. So intent precedes content is this realization that we're speaking to a different group. The other thing that we probably need to address with intent precedes content is, as we're training our hitters, we want to recognize that there's a task at hand. There's always a task at hand. What are you trying to accomplish? There's the organism that is trying to accomplish that task. And then there's the environment that task is being performed in. And I came across that, it's called dynamical systems theory. Big believer in dynamical systems theory, the task, the organism, and the environment. And we as a coach, we have to be very specific with the task that we're trying to perform. We have to know how we're going to define success. Not every task needs to be oriented in a cage. Not every task needs to be oriented on a field. Right? What's the task? Who's performing that task? Every person is uniquely different. And then what's the environment that we're training in? Is the environment safe to fail? Does the environment create a ton of risk where the athlete is fearful? So the task, the organism, and the environment. And then the last piece to intent precedes content is, I think overcoaching 101 is overvaluing information and undervaluing inspiration. And I think sometimes we have to be really careful about sharing content. There are times when you don't need to share content. You have to be really careful of what level your athlete's in, sampling, specialized, and invested. And as we go through this green light hitting, giving the athlete the information when they need the information is this cornerstone of green light hitting. We don't just